In the late 1990s, a commercial airliner was cruising at 30,000 feet. The co-pilot noticed a subtle, terrifying reading on his fuel gauge. The right-wing tank was leaking fuel at a catastrophic rate. If they didn't divert the plane immediately, the engine would flame out over the ocean. But the captain of this flight was an old-school aggressive veteran with a massive ego. He had a reputation for humiliating co-pilots who questioned his authority. The co-pilot felt his throat tighten. His heart rate spiked. His biology was trapped in a lethal paradox. His logical brain knew they were going to crash, but his social brain was terrified of the captain's defensive wrath. Instead of saying, "Captain, we are losing fuel, turn the plane," he cleared his throat nervously and said, "Sir, the fuel crossfeed settings look a bit unusual today." The captain snapped back, "The settings are fine, watch your instruments." The co-pilot went silent. He didn't push further. He let his fear of confrontation override the literal survival of the aircraft. "Now freeze that cockpit. Hold that suffocating silence. Because before I tell you how that crew survived, we need to talk about your kitchen table. We need to talk about why your partner would rather let your relationship run out of fuel than risk telling you the truth." The internal diagnostic, the bug report versus the system attack. Welcome back to the lab. I'm the mind mechanic. Today, we are diagnosing the code behind communication. If you want to be a master relationship coach, you have to understand that most relationships don't die from a lack of love. They die because the operators do not know how to give a proper bug report. In software engineering, when a program has a glitch, the engineer writes a bug report. They isolate the specific line of code, describe the error, and submit it. They don't scream at the computer. They don't say, "This laptop is a piece of garbage, and it has always been a piece of garbage." They isolate the data. But in relationships, we don't do that. When our partner forgets to look at us when we speak or fails to manage a boundary with their family, we don't submit a bug report. We launch a system attack. Instead of addressing the behavior, we attack their identity. We say, "You are selfish," or "You never care about my feelings." The moment you weaponize the words "you always" or "you never," you are no longer fixing a bug. You are trying to overwrite their entire operating system. The evolutionary psychology of defensiveness. To understand why this causes a total system crash, we have to look through the lens of evolutionary psychology. For 99% of human history, your survival depended entirely on your status within the tribe. If the tribe viewed you as incompetent, broken, or low value, you were at risk of exile. And in the ancestral environment, exile meant literal death. Therefore, your evolutionary hardware is hardwired to treat character criticism as an existential threat. When your partner says, "You're irresponsible," your brain doesn't hear a request to help with the dishes. Your brain hears, "You are being cast out of the tribe." Instantly, the neurology-physiology connection fires. Your sympathetic nervous system takes over. Adrenaline floods your system, your jaw clenches, and your ears tune out the frequency of your partner's voice. You are now in a defensive lockdown. You aren't listening to solve a problem, you are listening to survive an ambush. The second loop, the silent corporate pivot. Let's go back to our co-pilot. He realized his passive feedback had failed. The plane was losing altitude. He had to perform a total manual override on his own fear. He didn't yell at the captain. He didn't say, "You're an arrogant idiot who is killing us." That would have caused the captain's ego to lock up completely. Instead, he changed the framework. He grabbed the flight manual, pointed directly to the red lining gauge, and used a specific corporate communication protocol called crew resource management. He stated the raw data, the immediate consequence, and the collective solution. He said, "Captain, look at gauge number 2. We have lost 4,000 pounds of fuel in 10 minutes. If we do not land at the next airport, we will ditch in the water in 15 minutes. I need you to confirm heading 240. The captain's ego didn't engage because the co-pilot didn't attack his pilot identity. He pointed at the instrument panel. The captain blinked, saw the data, and turned the plane. They landed with less than 5 minutes of fuel remaining. Before I give you the exact framework to run this crew resource management protocol in your relationship, let's look at the mechanical errors you need to stop making today. The calibration. 3. Lethal feedback glitches. Kitchen sinking, the code dump. This happens when you hold onto a bug for months, And then, during a minor disagreement, you bring up every single mistake your partner has made since 2022. You overwhelm their processing unit. Their system freezes, and nothing gets resolved. Emotional contagion. Your partner comes home stressed and their tone is sharp. Instead of filtering that data through your logical cortex, your system catches the virus. You match their sharp tone with defensive anger. Now, two engines are redlining, and the original issue is completely lost in the smoke. The tone shift. It's not just what you say, it's the frequency it's delivered. Contempt, rolling your eyes, heavy sighing, scoffing, is the most corrosive frequency in human hardware. It signals superiority, which immediately triggers the other person's survival defense. The 7-step feedback loop. The system restore. Here is the precision protocol to deliver feedback to a partner without triggering an emotional meltdown. Isolate the behavior, the wire check. Never criticize personality, only criticize the specific action. Malfunction. You're so inconsiderate. Calibration. When you left without saying goodbye this morning, I felt disconnected. You are pointing at the gauge, not attacking the pilot. Use the objective data protocol. Speak only in terms of what a camera could record. A camera cannot record selfishness. A camera can record that the trash was not taken out. Stick to the unarguable data. When the data is clean, the defensive shield cannot stay up. Apply the 5:1 positive to negative ratio. Neurological data show that stable systems require at least 5 positive interactions to counteract 1 piece of negative feedback. If you only talk to your partner when there is a bug in the code, they will view your presence as a system threat. Keep the oil clean by constantly validating what is running correctly. Execute the I statement firmware update. Take 100% ownership of your internal processing. Instead of saying, "You made me angry," say, "I felt triggered when that happened." This prevents your partner from feeling blamed, which keeps their prefrontal cortex online and capable of empathy. Establish the feedback window. Do not deliver a serious bug report when your partner's internal battery is at 5%. If they just walked through the door from a 10-hour workday, their system cannot process a diagnostic. Ask for a dedicated calibration window. "Hey, there's something on my mind regarding our schedule. Can we look at it for 10 minutes after dinner?" Practice active reframing. When your partner gives you feedback, your evolutionary brain will want to defend. Perform a manual override. Say, "What I hear you saying is that you need more support with the household logistics. Am I reading the instrument correctly?" This shows them you are on the same team, looking at the same dashboard. The co-mechanic wrap-up. Never leave a feedback loop open. Close it with a shared solution. Ask, "What is one small tweak we can both make this week to ensure this circuit runs smoother?" Move from combat to collaboration. Closing the loop. Calibrating your cockpit. If that co-pilot had used standard emotional criticism, that plane would be at the bottom of the ocean. He saved 200 lives because he separated the problem from the person. In your relationship, you are in the exact same cockpit. The person sitting next to you isn't your opponent, they are your co-pilot. When a warning light flashes on the relationship dashboard, stop trying to blame them for breaking the switch. Grab the manual, look at the data together, and adjust your heading. Summary of the calibration. A relationship doesn't fail because it has bugs. It fails because the operators attack each other instead of fixing the code. Today, we analyzed the bug report versus system attack. We broke down the evolutionary psychology of defensiveness and the neurology of flight control. We installed the objective data protocol and the feedback window. If your relationship is currently losing fuel and you're tired of crashing into the same arguments, this is exactly the communication blueprint we install during my high-performance one-on-one coaching sessions. Let's fix the feedback loops. I'll see you in the next session.